welcome back to Susan Dawn Spiritual Connections. Welcome to a brand new Sacred Union Energy update. It has been a very interesting past 2 weeks. I've spent a lot of time myself in introspection and reflection and meditation. I've done a lot of communing and communicating with God within my own personal spiritual journey, my own experiences. I have had experiences and a connection with Yeshua. If you guys missed the sacred channeling that I just posted, Yeshua and the Open Door, it talks about the dark divine feminine and my own experiences with that. Talks about sacred union and how we're seeing the sacred union from the global perspective play out. And as you guys know, that's what we always say here. We always say take these sacred union energy updates with regards to your personal connection within your divine masculine, your divine feminine, and your inner union. Take it for what might be going on and playing out within your counterpart connection so you can better understand and have compassion for each other. And take it for the global collective, because your role, your journey as sacred partners and twin flames is going to have a major impact with regards to the collective energies. And we're seeing the macro and the micro, or the micro and the macro. Everything is a ripple effect. And so what you're experiencing individually within your own personal journey, your own human experiences, we're also seeing play out on a greater scale with regards to these masculine and feminine duality and how we are healing the polarities. And that became very clear to me with regards to everything that we are seeing, especially in the United States here, with regards to feminine energy rising, and that light that is shining is casting a shadow on the masculine, or it's shining a light, I should say, on the masculine shadow. And so both energies are healing on a collective scale. So I talked about that in the Yeshua and the Open Door channeling, and we talked about getting back to Yeshua's teachings, the core of Yeshua's teachings, which is what we channel here on Susan Dawn Spiritual Connections. This is what our teachings embody. And so getting back to the core of that. So don't miss any of the sacred channelings. They are a deeper level and layer for your journey. Your journey is not just about your relationship with your twin flame. You might have come to the journey with regards to that. You might have come and been activated to your experience with your counterpart through the twin flame path or the sacred union path. But as we always call it, is a sacred union path of ascension. And ascension is the core and the crux of what your journey is about. And it's your personal ascension. Your counterpart is your divine mirror. Your counterpart is your catalyst. Your counterpart is you, ultimately. And so they are reflecting back to you the places to heal, to grow, and to expand. And if you're still looking at it just from an individual or relationship perspective, if you're looking at just as I want to be with my twin flame, then you're missing so much joy in the journey, and you're missing so much peace and so much, you're just missing so much of what the journey is actually about, and it's keeping you stuck and it's keeping you stagnant. And what we want to do here at Susan Dawn Spiritual Connections is we want to break you out of that. And that's what all of our channelings and all of our support resources are for. It is to break you out of that. I've experienced that within myself. Everything that I share, everything that I channel, or everything that I produce, if it's a product or it's a course or it's a channeling or a transmission, is coming through my own experience, something that I've experienced as well. Like I always say, I'm right here with you guys. I've been going through my own evolution, my own journey as well. So I come at it from a place of having experienced my own breakthroughs, my own transformations. And that's what I'm here for, to support you in your journeys as well. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the masculine and feminine energies and the union energies like we usually do. It is a full moon in Taurus today. Let's talk about Taurus for a minute. Taurus is very bullheaded. It is the sign of the bull. It is very stubborn, but it could also be very grounded. Taurus it's a Venus energy. Venus is connected to both Libra and Taurus. So Venus is all about that loving energy. So Venus likes love. Venus likes even harmony. Venus likes connection, and wanting, with the Taurus energy, wanting to ground that connection. And I feel like for a lot of you, you might have been, similar to my own experience, going through breakthroughs within the past couple of weeks. It might have even been with the results of the election being a catalyst for you, or showing you more for you. For myself, it was a huge catalyst in that it was anchoring me more into myself and what I know and what I feel and my own intuition, and that is dark divine feminine energy. And remember from our teachings in that channeling, dark divine feminine isn't anything bad, so to speak, just because it is dark. The feminine energy is naturally going to be dark. She's not just love and light, although those are the aspects that we embody or that we think of when we think of feminine energy. The feminine energy, true feminine energy, in her wholeness, in her union within herself, she is both that light and that dark aspect, just like she is both that masculine and the feminine within your own inner union. And so she is in her wholeness both the light and the dark. And the dark aspect is the one who is fiercely, it's like Kali Ma energy, who is the divine mother, that goddess energy. She is somebody who is so fully connected to herself and her own intuition that no outside influence can claim power over her. She is so connected to her own connection to GodSource that none is above that connection with God or is above God. She is so connected to her own power that she has very firm boundaries with regards to herself, with regards to her sacredness. This could be boundaries with regards to sexual energy. This could be boundaries with regards to expression and communication. This could be boundaries with regards to how she is treated or even how she treats others. This is somebody, the dark divine feminine energy is somebody who is unafraid, or even if she has moments of that fear, she allows herself to anchor into her faith so that she becomes unapologetically fearless because she is unapologetically herself. The dark divine feminine is somebody who is truly authentic and who lives in that authenticity. She is not afraid to be herself because that is her power. And she has claimed back all of that power that in her distorted lens, she might have given over to somebody else. When you are going through your union, the union journey, and you are anchoring into that inner union within yourself and the feminine energy, the divine feminine energy within yourself, what you're actually anchoring in, again, is the wholeness of both the light and the dark. And the dark isn't something to be afraid of or ashamed of. In fact, the dark is where there is power because the dark is where there is all. For myself, I was almost afraid to go into that depth because the dark divine feminine is also very complex. She is very deep. And as somebody who has never been able to play in the shallow waters, somebody who has always been deep, I was almost afraid to allow myself to go even deeper with myself, to go even deeper with my intuition, even deeper with my connection. But what I realized this week was I needed to surrender to that, and that the dark encompasses all. When you think about a night sky is what they're bringing me, you see blackness, right? But there's everything within that blackness. If you look at color, for example, and you look at the black color, black is not the absence of color. Black is everything. If you put all the colors of the rainbow and on a piece of paper, if you take crayons and put all the colors of the rainbow on a piece of paper and you color and color and color and color and color, it becomes black, right? Because you're mixing all the colors. It is the all. It is the all. And so in that darkness there is depth, and that is what makes it complex, and that's what makes it a little bit mysterious. But that's our ascension journey. We are unraveling those mysteries. We are coming home to ourselves and that wisdom and that knowledge within. And you need both. You need that love and that compassion and that softness of the feminine energy. But that feminine energy is also fierce. She is also wild. She is also authentically herself. And that is what the dark divine feminine brings in. And we're going to have a channeling sometime in the next week or so about specifically the dark divine. It's something that I've been wanting to do for 2 years now, something that I had channeled a little bit on, but I wasn't fully embodying that myself yet, so I wasn't ready to channel that. But now I get it. And this week truly activated me, and I channeled a little bit about it in that Yeshua and the open door channeling, so make sure that you're checking that out. But if you are experiencing some kind of transformation, if you're resonating with that, it's because it could be that that dark divine aspect has been activating within you as well. And truly, that is what the feminine energy is. Again, as you are activating your feminine energy and coming home to yourself in your feminine energy, you are naturally also activating the dark divine feminine, and it comes in balance. It comes in balance. It's the wholeness of who you are as a feminine energy, as a divine feminine energy. So, with the full moon, I feel like we are clearing the way. We are clearing out a lot of old energy, clearing out a lot of old identity, maybe beliefs, self-concept, ideas, what we thought we knew, what path we thought we were on. It's going to resonate with everybody in a little bit of a different way, depending on what you're experiencing in your individual journeys. But it is a continued clearing. I myself have been a little bit under the weather because I've been feeling this release of old energy. My throat chakra was activated this week. I was having some scratchy throats, and especially over on my bookish accounts, where I talk about my novels and books and stuff, I was really being vocal about allowing myself to express myself and be vocal in my opinions of standing up for books. Books as self-expression, books as necessary to continue to evolve, to continue to help humanity to evolve. And it was very interesting because I've always been very outspoken when it comes to awareness and advocacy efforts, from water rights to animal rights to being health advocates with regards to Lyme disease. I mean, I've gone to protests. I've done all sorts of things when it comes to advocacy work. And that's what it brought me to. It's like boots on the ground. It's like, don't be afraid to speak up, even as you are a spiritual being. It's almost like I had stepped back from that as I stepped more into my spirituality. But that is what your spiritual work is for, too. It is not just for the meditation. It is also for how are you putting it into practice? How are you being of service to the world? How are you standing up for your brothers and your sisters? How are you advocating for those who are the most vulnerable among us? That's the practice. That's what Yeshua teaches us. And that's what your ascension journey ultimately is about. It's about embodying that Christosphere consciousness. And when we're talking about the Christosphere consciousness, we are talking about the masculine and the feminine. That is what your twin flame sacred union journey is bringing you home to. It's bringing you home to that wholeness within yourself, that union within yourself. And that is what it's like to be human, having a very spiritual self-mastery. You have all the tools and all the resources through your spiritual journey for the human experience. And that is how we have the ripple effect and change the world, because how you embody that leadership by example, putting everything into practice now, not just who you are in your sanctuary and in your healing modalities and in your spiritual communities, but who are you when you are out in the world, maybe with those who are not as far along on their awakening path as you. How are you interacting? How are you being? Or how are you embodying your spiritual tools and your spiritual self-mastery? And so it's about leadership by example, and your sacred union journey is a key component of that, because your sacred union journey has enabled you to see the masculine and the feminine play out within yourself and within others. And it gives you a new view of compassion. It gives you a new viewpoint of understanding, and it enables you to see how there is this ripple effect. The more you're coming into that wholeness of your inner masculine and your inner feminine, and the more your counterpart comes into wholeness within themselves, and the more you are aligned together, it has ripple effects on everything. And that's not to discount you as an individual. Like, you can't have your connection with your counterpart unless you're doing that inner work too. It comes down to you. Your counterpart is the reflection of you. Your counterpart is the mirror of you. And so that's what we work through. That's what we're doing the work for. I have clients who are doing amazing work in our soul guidance sessions, in our Unity Code Intensive, where they are showing up, and every week it's like something new. Every week it's something different, because they're just breaking through and they're seeing their counterpart reflect that. And I always remind them that it's not their counterpart. Yes, their counterpart is doing the work too, but it is literally you and your energy that is shifting everything in your life, because you are the empowered creator of your reality. And that's what we're here to remind you of. It's not just about, the readings are meant to help you and be a sort of navigation point for you. But they're not the be all end all. It's not shut off the readings and then you're done. The inner work is where it's at. And so that's why we have the readings, just to keep continuing to be updated, to continue to have those guideposts for you. But there's a bunch more resources that we have to help you navigate this. And I always say, anytime, if you're confused, if you don't know where you are in your journey, or you don't know what's going to be helpful, just reach out to me and I will help point you to resources, even from other practitioners, that I think will be beneficial for you, because that is what I'm here to do. What did I get off on that tangent? We're talking about the feminine. Oh, we're talking about the full moon. So the full moon is all about grounding energy. But the Taurus energy is all about grounding this energy. So you have been clearing, you have been releasing, and now you're integrating. You're going to be grounding this energy. So the full moon is twofold. It is helping you to release, and it's also helping you to ground in. And this is what happens as you are releasing. New light codes, new energy comes in, maybe even new belief systems, new understandings and insight come in and anchor in. And that's what's happening here. The other thing I wanted to mention that is happening next week on the 19th is Pluto is moving into Aquarius, moving out of Capricorn for the last time in our lifetime. Hallelujah. For those of you who are cardinal signs, Aries, Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And I have a big three, so I've been talking about this for a year now. This is significant because it's ending a huge 16-year cycle. And you guys have heard me share before that 2008, 16 years ago, is literally when I had my initial awakening. And I didn't realize that until my ascension journey. But look back 16 years, if you have those significant placements in your sun, moon, and rising placements, look back, because that your astrology is going to help you kind of navigate your journey and confirm your journey and whether or not you're in alignment. And so, and help you get into alignment too. These are all tools. Astrology too is a tool. And so look back at 2008 and see, where were you? And how has that played out over the course of your journey? How has everything connected? How has everything added up to bring you to this point? Who are you now and who were you then? And so as we move into Aquarius, we're ending that old version of ourselves, whoever that was, however that plays out, because again, you are more of who you have always been. At your core level, on the soul level, you are more now. It's not that you're completely somebody different. It might feel like that. It might feel like you are shedding an old identity of yourself, but it's really that you're coming home to your true soul essence, to your true self, essentially. And so that's what Pluto is. Pluto is transformation. Pluto is the underworld. Pluto is complete rebirth, and you may have gone through a complete rebirth. And your ascension journey, if you were activated to your sacred union ascension journey as a part of this cycle, is because you were meant to go through this transformation and this rebirth. Pluto in Aquarius is going to affect the fixed signs next. So Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, and I keep forgetting, I think it might be Taurus. I keep forgetting the last one. I think it might be Taurus. So it's going to be affecting the fixed signs next. So If you have already been going through this journey and doing that inner work, then you are primed for a journey of transformation that might feel a bit more effortless, might feel a bit more easy because you are conscious and aware of it, of going through that rebirth. You've already been going through that rebirth. I do also mention Pluto and Aquarius on a grander scale. I mentioned it in the beginning of the year during my year ahead reading. We did a channeling before the actual reading, and it was very significant. And we keep coming back to that year ahead reading because it's been playing out this whole year. So I'm going to put that channeling in the description box as well. And as always, we'll have another year ahead coming towards January. But check out the year ahead reading, or at least that Pluto and Aquarius channeling, because that is exceptionally significant for our journeys right now, sacred unions and our journeys. And when I'm talking about our journeys and ascension, I'm not including sacred union. I'm not including twin flames. This is the path that we're on. It's a sacred union path of ascension. This is a path that you were catalyzed to. Other people will be catalyzed to their ascension journey in other ways. But this is a path that we found ourselves catalyzed to, and so it is ascension that is the point. It is the sacred union is just a path to that ascension journey, or on that ascension journey. Okay, so a couple things that I want to mention there and channel first that are playing a significant role. So we'll definitely see. I have a text thread going with a couple of friends, and about November 19th, and we're just kind of saying, let's go. Let's effing go. We're ready for it. We are ready for that change. Ready for that shift, and it'll be interesting to see how it shifts. All right, so let's take a look and see right now in the current energy, where is the divine masculine? Now, for a second, I felt an energy of the greater collective, but we're not going to channel for the greater collective right now. We're going to channel for the sacred union energy updates. I know you guys know that. I'm just confirming with my spirit guides that we're channeling for those who are on the sacred union path, who might be more ahead. Well, they are more ahead than the greater collective. Like I mentioned in the Yeshua and Open Door channeling, what we're seeing in the sacred union is what is playing out in the global collective. And what I had shared is look back at what it felt like when you were just going through your awakening, when you were just going through your ascension, when you were just activated. That's what's playing out in a grander scale around the world right now. Everybody's at a little bit of a different path. Everybody's at a little bit of a different place on their journey, but there is another activation to awakening that is happening. We had one in 2012. We had one collectively in 2020. We're going through another one now, and there are many layers and levels of awakening and ascension. And ascension is the deepest level of awakening that you can be activated to, and even through the ascension journey there are different levels and layers, etc. It's all cycles. It's all transformations. So for example, there's what I call your activation to ascension, which is including the sacred union journey or the twin flame journey, and then what I call the higher heart ascension, which is the embodiment. And I go through that in my book. If you're interested, you can get my book to go deeper into that. But it's all about different cycles, and we're seeing that play out. Again, there are somebody who are at different phases. And even within your own individual journey, you will have people who are guiding you and people that you are guiding. That's how it works. Everybody plays a role for each other. We cannot forget that everybody is playing a role for each other. And it's all playing out in the great big cosmic scheme of it all. Okay, so let's see what is going on for the divine masculine, the conscious divine masculine on their ascension journey right now. Truth. Oh, yep. I love this card, and I'm going to tell you why. This card, you see that there's this great storm that's here, and actually what's interesting is outside we're supposed to be getting, the wind has already picked up 30-40 mile per hour winds here in Pennsylvania. But what stays rooted is truth. The storms can come in at the bottom of the deck. It's not here anymore, but at the bottom of the deck, when I picked up the deck to use, I saw healing chaos, and it was a tornado, and that's kind of what it felt like. I had wanted to channel on that for a minute, but And that's what it feels like. It feels like been a lot of chaos. It's like the wind picked up. There's been a lot of chaos that picked up, right? And depending on where you are, you might be feeling it. It might be activating you as it should be. You might be feeling very calm. You might be feeling very at the center of yourself, like in the center of the storm. It might be activating you to transformation. It might be activating you to rebirth. It might be activating you to a level of yourself that you might have forgotten. Calling back an aspect of yourself. Regardless of what it is, there is a shift that is happening here. And I feel that same shift for the Divine Masculine. What I feel for the Divine Masculine is they are rooting in, getting to know themselves. This has been a common refrain and a common theme for the Divine Masculine, who has been going through a transformation and a rebirth. And so even as the wind picks up, and this could be something in their lives, as far as it could be something chaotic, with regards to feeling, I'm hearing the word out of bounds. So it could be, I'm trying to ask them to explain that a little bit more. Out of bounds, there could be something with regards to um, money that feels unstable, maybe relationships feel unstable. That's what it feels like. It feels very chaotic for them. And it almost feels like they don't quite know what to do with that chaos. They don't quite know how to ground themselves. And the thing that they're learning right now is how to anchor into their truth, how to anchor into themselves. I feel like this came through in the last Sacred Union energy update. There's a very familiar feeling here, and I can't quite I can't quite bring it forth. But there was something in the last Sacred Union energy update about anchoring in, getting to know themselves on a deep intrinsic level. And that comes from that transformation, that comes from that rebirth. Really getting to know themselves, not under the not the mask, not the facade, not the expectations, not the versions of themselves that other people wanted them to be or they thought they were, not the versions of themselves that links them to money or prestige or um, certain labels or anything like that, which is all surface level, which is all facade and mask anyway, but really the core of themselves, the truth of themselves. Well, now here, I feel like it's almost like an initiation. It feels almost like not quite a test, but it just feels like, are you truly anchored in? Are you truly anchored into who you know you are? Are you truly anchored into the truth of yourself? Because again, I'm drawn to the tree here, and the tree has roots that are anchored in. In my book, I have something called um, the core wound tree, and it's talking about separation and how when we experience separation, it's because we give into that illusion that we are separate. And it's the roots of it's the whole of a tree, right? You have all these branches, and those branches might be beliefs, they might be judgments, they might be feelings of worthlessness, they might be self-esteem, they might be whatever wounds, abandonment, rejection, neglect, whatever it is, people pleasing. All these wounds are the branches of the tree, and you believe in that, right? But what's true, what's real is down in the roots. What's true, what's real, what's rooted is God's source. God's source is the roots of the tree. And so you can even imagine it as all those beliefs are the leaves, and the leaves fall in cycles. We have the seasons, and right now we're in fall, which is a huge rebirth energy. There's that release that we're experiencing. And so the leaves fall, and they fall to the ground and they decay and they become one with the earth again. And in the spring, the branches of the tree, they sprout new blooms, they sprout new leaves, and those leaves bloom. But what's always true is God's source. And now God's source is part of you. You are part of God's source. You are one. There is no separation there. So when we're talking about God's source, we're talking about your soul. We're talking about who you are at your core. That is the truth. And so all those leaves or all those branches of the tree, or however metaphor you want to use it, those can shift, because you're shifting your perspective about yourself, you're shifting your self-identity, you're shifting how you see yourself, because you're remembering that you are not rejection, you are not abandonment, you are not worthlessness, you are not the people-pleasing person that you thought you were. You are not the mask, you're not the facade. You are, at the core, the roots of the tree. At the core, you are soul, you are one with God. And so I feel like that's what the divine masculine is really being initiated to. I feel like they're really being initiated to recognizing and discovering. That's what it feels like. It feels like this rediscovery. And again, they're calling me back to the last Sacred Union energy update, where it's this rediscovery energy, rediscovering who they truly are beneath all the bullshit of who they thought they were, or who they thought they needed to be, or who they pretended they were unconsciously. It's not playing pretend as in consciously manipulating themselves or other people. It's who they thought that they were, or they thought that they needed to be, because they were in an unconscious state. Now they're growing more aware of who they truly are, and who they truly are is that soul, and that is a truth that is steadfast within them. So they might be feeling a little bit unstable right now as old energies fade away, as old identities and systems and beliefs are being purged. That's what it feels like, the chaos here. That's what it feels like the storm is. You know how when you have a hurricane will go through like a town or something, and it'll pick up speed, it'll pick up all the debris, and that's what makes a hurricane so like dark and dangerous, is because it's picking up all this debris as it's going by. Well, that's what it feels like. It feels like the masculine is in this hurricane, and what they're doing is they're picking up all this debris. Who was I? Who did I think I needed to be? What are my beliefs? What were the expectations that I had of myself? What was my attachments? And when the storm calms, what they're going to find is, and what they're finding now, this is part of their process, is that they are and always have been their own soul. That they are and always have been just them. Just, it's like, it feels like a very vulnerable energy. It feels like a very raw energy. They picked up all this debris of other people's beliefs about them. And it's like they soaked it in. Other people's expectations, other people's desires. And now it's like taking the time to decide, what are my beliefs? What are my values? What is it that I actually believe? Not other people thinking for me, but what is it that I actually believe? And it's interesting, again, because we're literally seeing that play out. We're literally seeing that play out in the global collective right now, with masculines and feminines, especially males and females. Very interesting. So the divine masculine is getting in touch with their core truth, their core value system, their core belief system, their core identity. And that comes from going through this transformation of stripping everything else away. What's going on with the divine feminine? What's going on with the divine feminine? Inner peace. I love this. This comes from your inner work, divine feminine. And this is the balance. I'm also getting this Gemini energy, and Gemini is the sign of the twins, but it's like the yin and the yang is what I'm getting. Like the twin energy, it's not twins as in like twin flames. It's twin as in like two sides of yourself. And that's what I was saying, the dark and the light. That's what I was saying. Like, it's not just the love and light divine feminine, it's also the dark divine feminine. And it's coming into that wholeness. That's where your inner peace is, because you are embodying your true authentic self. You are unapologetically yourself. And I'm just seeing this like goddess archetype. It's not any, I'm just trying to tune in to see if it's anybody specific, and it's not. It's just this archetype of this goddess who is standing tall. And you guys can't see me right now, but I feel like my shoulders are back, my back is straight, my head is up. That's this energy that you're beginning to embody, standing tall. And it feels like wholeness. I feel like this is a process that you've been going through, and you might be at different stages of this process, but this is a process that many of us, or if not all of us, in my community, in my collective, have been experiencing, especially you've been resonating with my readings. This, for myself, has been a 2-year process of coming into my inner union and balancing that within myself. And so it did take me by surprise, this dark, divine, feminine energy coming through, only because it's something that I was working on a little bit over the past 2 years. Um, Recognizing for myself a little bit over the past 2 years. Kalima has been a guide for me, a constant guide for me these past 2 years. But to really understand what that means embodied, it feels like something different. And it feels like home. It feels like coming home to oneself. And there's a sense of peace. And the other energy that I'm getting here with these fish is almost feels like bringing people with you. You don't lose people by embodying this energy. On the surface, you might. I definitely lost a couple of people in the community, and that's okay. That's okay. That's why I'm always saying, you are where you are, and if you no longer resonate with me, that's okay. You're always welcome here as long as you want to be here, even if you don't agree. You're always welcome here. If you don't want to be here anymore, that's fine too, because I honor your journey wherever it is that you are and whatever it is that you want to experience. But it feels like you're bringing people with you. What I mean by that is it feels like maybe you're bringing a new soul family and soul tribe, people who are aligned to this next level of you. That's what this feels like. It feels like doing this together. It feels like community, really bringing together a deeper sense of community. And the more that you're anchored into your authenticity, the more that you're anchored into your inner peace, it almost feels like I'm seeing like a school of fish behind you. And you have guides yourself. You have people that you are entering into community with, but you yourself are bringing your community too. I don't quite know how to explain this. When I say that you're a leader, I want you to understand, because this came through in the Yeshua and the Open Door leader or reading too, or channeling too. We have to be really clear about what we mean when we're talking about certain concepts, because when we use certain language, it has been in the unconscious state very misconstrued in our world. For example, control. Having control doesn't mean controlling other people or controlling your environment. It means having control of oneself. You can't control other people, you can't control your environment or experiences, but you can control yourself, your responses, your expressions, your emotions. You are in control of yourself. That is your power. When we're talking about power, we're not talking about power over somebody. We're talking about the power within you. And just because you are claiming your power doesn't mean that you're taking power away from somebody else. You are empowering yourself, which is going to help other people empower themselves. And imagine if we were all coming from a place of empowerment, authentic empowerment. Imagine that. Imagine that world for a minute. How that would be if we were all coming from the place where we recognized our sovereignty, where we recognized our divinity. They bring me the word namaste. Namaste is I honor the divine in you, and you honor the divine in me. That's exactly what this is. That's what empowerment is. Empowerment, power, doesn't mean that you are taking some power from somebody. That's just disempowering other people. And we're not meant to be doing that. And it doesn't mean that other people have power over you. Definitely not meant to be doing that. It is claiming the power within yourself, not putting anybody above or below you. You just are. That is what leadership by example is. The person who keeps coming in as a prime example of what a leader is King Arthur. For years, we have been channeling King Arthur, Merlin, and Camelot energy. I have a Camelot series in my Ascension Connections portal. And King Arthur is a leader. He doesn't just lead from his throne. He is in the trenches. He walks the talk. He rides into battle with his people. He is wise, and he allows that wisdom to guide him, but he also allows himself to be guided by others, to consider. He has Merlin, for example, as a guide, and he considers Merlin's insight, but Merlin is not a power over him. Merlin is not dictating to him what to do. That is not the role of a guide. The role of a guide is to help you to navigate for yourself. And a leader is somebody who doesn't put somebody above themselves and doesn't put themselves above other people. A true leader is somebody who looks at everything from all angles and accepts help from everywhere, and then takes that within themselves and says, okay, what is it that I believe? What is it that I feel is right, coming from my own inner guidance, my own intuition? Having all this insight, how is it that I feel? And how is it that I'm going to navigate this intuitively? Arthur is that balance of the masculine and the feminine. He is that divine masculine energy which accepts that guidance of the feminine, accepts the guidance and the intuition of the feminine, but also acts on it. So when I'm talking about leader, I want to be very clear. It is not somebody who dictates. A leader is somebody who embodies that wholeness and doesn't put themselves over or beneath anybody else. Instead, he or she empowers one to be that for themselves and to be that for other people, and that's how the ripple effect takes place. So here, when I say that it feels like this person is leading other people, there's going to be other people who are leading them too, or guiding them too. I wanted to be very clear about that distinction. So I feel like this is coming from your place of wholeness, your place of inner peace that you're reaching, and you might have different levels of that embodiment depending on where you are in the process. But I feel like there is soul family coming in, or who are here. There are community. There is this soul tribe that is coming in because you are in alignment with yourself. You are calling in other people who are aligned to that energy. Okay? All right, we're going to get a little bit deeper. Let's see if there's anything for the union energies. What's going on for the union energies? What's going on for the union energies? We have openness and community. It's interesting. This openness was at the bottom of the deck when we were channeling for the divine masculine. So I almost feel like it's like this over here and this over here, but there's also like this oneness. So I feel like things might feel a little bit, no, it doesn't feel disconnected and it doesn't feel detached. It's not any of those words. It still feels very connected. But remember how we talked about how it almost feels like there's a veil. You might not be able to see what the other person is doing. Because you're meant to be connected to yourself, fully connected to yourself. You're not meant to be giving your attention over to anything else. It's almost like keep nurturing within. Keep nurturing the energy within. Don't focus on what your counterpart is doing or not doing. Keep nurturing that energy within, because your counterpart is doing exactly what they're meant to be doing. If you're distracting yourself with what is he thinking? What is she saying? What are they doing? You know, if you're focused on that, then you're just pulling your energy away. You're actually disempowering yourself and giving all that over to your counterpart. You're not meant to be doing that. You're meant to be embodying that energy for yourself and nurturing that energy within you. And your counterpart is doing their own inner work. Your counterpart is doing that for themselves, and that's where you meet. It's what I'm seeing is it's like it's the same path. It's still the same path, but you're over here and they're over here. I always use the example of the circle. Like the circle, like you're still in the same path, you're still in the same line, but you just are going like this, until it's time for that reunion, that reconciliation. It's time for that coming together, because it's in alignment, and that's all the timing is. It's alignment. Sometimes you have to experience, especially with regards to union, it's sometimes you have to experience separation, but that separation is a gift. Don't look at separation as lacking, because separation is not even separation. Separation is an illusion. You're never separate. You're always in union with your counterpart. So if you're focused on the separation, oh my God, we're not in contact, we're not in communication, then you're literally creating separation. Don't look at separation or no contact as separation. Look at it as nurturing your individual journey focusing on your passions, focusing on your joys, focusing on your work, focusing on your community, your friends, your family. That is what is actually going to elevate your journey. That's going to elevate your connection. That's actually what is going to get you into alignment. It's when you're focused on the lack that pushes everything away, it resists it. So remember that you're always in union. So with this openness in this community, I'm also, see, this is what I'm talking about. This inner peace, it's these butterflies and transformations, like you're transforming your community. You're transforming and realigning with your community and what that means. And community can be friends, family, coworkers. Some of you might be getting new jobs, or at least moving into a new department, or something where you're meeting new people. You could be enhancing your sense of community. It doesn't have to be, community in the sense of the word that we know community to be. It could be, for example, deepening your connections with those that you are already in connection with, deepening your relationships. There's this sense of enhancement that's coming through here, and that comes from nurturing within. That openness feels like that, like your authentic self. It feels like really connecting with your authentic self. And when you're connected to your authentic self, there's no guard. You are open. You are, well, what they just said is it's Yeshua in the open door. It's walking through a new doorway, but it's a doorway to yourself. Interesting. Okay. So let's see what's going on with the Divine Masculine when it comes to their journey. Yeah, that's what I want to ask. When it comes to their journey, what's going on with the Divine Masculine? We have the Devil. We have the Six of Swords, and we have the Three of Pentacles. Okay. So I feel like what's happening for the Divine Masculine, is they are beginning to understand their own power. And again, we defined power and what that actually means. It's the connection to oneself. It's your own sense of self, your own empowerment, rediscovering this. That's the roots, anchoring in. And I feel like what might be happening now is they are clearing any of that old attachment, any of those old beliefs that held them back, that kept them trapped. What I like about the Six of Swords and the Three of Pentacles here is, number one, Pentacles used to be my union energy, and they're reminding me of that because it feels like this is where the Divine Masculine is they are becoming open, again, openness to connection, collaboration, cooperation. And I'll get to what that means in a minute. But what I like about the Six of Swords is moving forward from where they felt trapped. And this isn't a trapped within a certain situation, although it could be. This could be something where they're trapped with regards to their finances, with regards to addictions, with regards to relationships, with regards to work, or whatever this is. There might be some way in which they are trapped, but moving on from that. And that first is shifted, their physical experiences are first shifted within your mind, within yourself. If you're experiencing something within your physical world, like feeling trapped in a certain situation, a certain job, or finances, or a relationship, it has to shift within yourself first. The energy within shifts first. We know this, right? We know this from our ascension work. And so I feel like that's what's happening. They've been going through this release. They've been going through this transformation, this rebirth, and the energy within them has been shifting. And so as the energy within them has been shifting, they are releasing all of that old energy that had kept them trapped in a former life, a former version of themselves. And when I say a former life, I mean a former version of their life. Again, a job, a relationship, whatever this was. So this is a release. It could also be a belief system. So for some, this is an internal trap where they felt caught in a consciousness loop, or they were trapped in a mindset or a belief system. And so it's freeing the mind. The swords here in tarot is all about the mind. It's very cerebral. So this could be a shift within a mindset and a belief. But again, no matter which one it is a shift forward. It is a transformation. It is a moving forward, greater clarity, greater understanding of the direction that I'm going now. The Five of Swords, prior to the Six of Swords, is all about inner conflict. For me, that is a card of battle of the mind and the heart. Moving away from that, not feeling so trapped in that. Now, moving on to the Three of Pentacles, again, it's this energy of, again, cooperation. So it could be in a number of different ways that they are working with people. This could be, for example, therapists or counselors or mentors or some kind of guide or teacher or something like that. Or this could also be, again, internal. And again, the external is a reflection of the internal. It could just be playing out in the external in these examples. But it could also be internal, where they are wanting to connect with other people again. They might have been in a very self-isolated kind of frame of mind. Maybe they were avoidant, or maybe they were pushing connection away because there was a fear of vulnerability, there was a fear of intimacy. So maybe they kept relationships very surface level for some. But this feels like wanting to invite in community, wanting to invite in people, and learning from them. Again, the Magician, it really feels like transforming everything. This Magician feels like self-mastery and taking all those tools and transforming. It really feels like a transformation of their life. I'm getting this energy of miracles from the Magician. It's very interesting. It might seem like a miracle to the Divine Masculine, because it might be like the life that they're dreaming of might be so different than what they thought. Or maybe this inner transformation that they're going through, it's so different from who they used to be. It feels almost like there's something here about miracles. I can't quite reach it or articulate it, but there's something here about feeling like it's miraculous in a positive way, like really feeling motivated, really feeling empowered, really feeling like everything is possible and everything can change. And I feel like with the Magician too, it's like believing in themselves enough to make that change. Very interesting energy. Getting lots of solar plexus energy from this card. This feels a very empowered kind of energy. And that empowerment too is what's breaking them free from this attachment, from this devil energy. Very nice forward progression here. All right, what's going on for the Divine Feminine? The current journey for the Divine Feminine. King of Pentacles. I almost mentioned it. There was the Queen of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Very interesting. There's the King of Pentacles. Very grounded, very stable. What's going on for the Divine Feminine? You might be connecting with your inner masculine in a healthier way. What is this? What's going on for the Divine Feminine now? What's going on for the Divine Feminine? I feel like Divine Feminines, you're definitely going through a process. I'm shuffling these cards, and it's like cards want to come out, but like not yet. Want to come out, not yet. Like that's what it might feel like. That's what this full moon, I feel like, might be helping. And for those of you who are cardinal signs, or who are going to be feeling this shift, or who already are feeling this shift from this November 19th, Pluto moving into Aquarius, that's helping you as well. So it's like, I feel like there's this transformation that's taking place right now, and I feel like the not yet is like it's just not come to it hasn't just anchored in yet. It's still in the process of it. Divine Feminine. I'll take those. Yeah. With the Hanged Man, you're definitely shifting. You're definitely experiencing or seeing something differently. I want to see, why is the Five of Cups here? Tell me more about the Five of Cups. Oh, you're healing within you, Divine Feminine, anywhere where you had forgotten yourself, anywhere where you had abandoned yourself, anywhere where you had left yourself out in the cold with this Five of Pentacles. But I'm also getting that energy from the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups traditionally is this energy of I'm getting the word neglect. It's traditionally this energy of woe is me, victimhood, remorse, regret, that kind of thing. It's also an energy of crying over spilled milk, which is victimhood. But I feel like there's this energy of that's what you're leaving behind, that's what you're shifting, and that's why you're anchoring in your masculine energy, where your masculine energy is grounded, it's present, it's secure, it's stable. And when you anchor in your masculine energy, that's where your feminine energy can truly rise and truly express yourself. Your masculine energy is what gives you the container to be fully your feminine. And so I had shared this again in the Yeshua teaching. Make sure that you're checking that one out. I really encourage that. Um, and we have channeled this a bunch over the course of the past couple of years. The feminine energy is the water, the river, moving down into the waterfall. And the waterfall is incredibly powerful, right? But imagine if we didn't have the embankment for the river, if there weren't stones, if there weren't earth that was creating a structure for that water to flow, well, then there would just be floods, right? Because that water would go everywhere. Water is life force. Divine feminine energy is primal life force energy, but it needs a container to be held in. It's not restriction, it is not a rigid container, but it is a container of safety and security so that the feminine can fully express herself and be that very powerful life force energy. That's what this feels like. It feels like that's what's shifting you, divine feminine. You have the masculine that is anchored into you within your own inner union so that you can shift out of this self abandonment, out of this self neglect, out of this victimhood and woe is me. I feel like that is what you are fully claiming when you're claiming yourself, is you are claiming the unapologetic version of you. Again, for those of you who are not resonating with the dark divine feminine energy yet, this could just be your divine feminine energy that you are moving through the process of. But I mention the dark divine because she's not separate from the divine feminine. It just depends on where you might be on the journey and what you might be resonating with. So this could just be the divine feminine energy. But now that I've gone through my own experience with the dark divine feminine energy, I notice it, I recognize it in its wholeness and in its sacredness. So that's why I'm bringing it up and mentioning it. But just consider it the divine feminine energy. So I feel like you're seeing yourself differently. You're seeing yourself new. This is part of a rebirth that you have been um, going through here. This is part of the inner peace, yeah, that you're experiencing. I just wanted to double check what that word was. This is part of that union energy that you're experiencing, moving out of this cycle. And they're calling me to the 5 here, being a number of change. That is the significance of this cycle for you. It's been a change, it's been a transformation. Tell me more about the divine feminine. Tell me more about the divine feminine here, please. Tell me more about the divine feminine. Yeah, you have gone into yourself. And what I mean by that is it's not a hermit energy as we think of hermit energy, although some of you, like myself, might be feeling very homebody-ish lately. Like I said, I even stepped away from going to hockey games, y'all. The past 2 weeks I had chances to go to hockey games that I didn't have tickets for, and I said, you know what, I need to be with myself right now. And so I spent a lot of time with myself in meditation, a lot of time with myself connecting with Yeshua, Mary Magdalene, and GodSource, and really desiring to be with myself in a very sacred way, in a very like a sanctity kind of energy. And so that's what this feels like. It doesn't feel like a hermit energy as in I just want to curl under the covers and escape. It feels more like connecting with yourself, to know yourself on a deeper level. And I feel like that's what the full moon is bringing in. That's what Pluto and Aquarius is bringing in. That's what the energies from all of November has been bringing us. We really saw a significant shift in energy in November, from October into November. And I feel like it's bringing us deeper into ourselves to really get to know ourselves. And part of that getting to know yourself is clearing out this energy, any residual lasting beliefs that you have or mindsets that you have that are making you believe in victimhood, that are making you believe that you are less powerful than you are. You're clearing that all out to become the empowered version of yourself. And again, I'm being called to say we have so many resources available to help you claim that empowerment, to help you really see that within yourself. And part of that is boundaries. And we have a mastering spiritual boundaries workshop coming up this Sunday. And if you're not available to make it, we do have a replay package available. And so you can join the membership and get it at a discount, including all the other workshops available. Or you can register now and make sure that you're getting it. That the price does raise after the registration is over. But the workshops will always be available in some format. But the workshop, we're going to be doing it in 3 parts, where you are going to be knowing how to protect yourself and have those boundaries energetically, how to have boundaries within yourself, and how to have boundaries with other people. And I especially wanted to do it before the holidays because I know that the holidays can be especially challenging. And so it feels like it's coming in like just divine timing for myself as well. And we're also going to have, as part of that, a chance for you to bring up and discuss any place where you might be having trouble with boundaries, and we'll do some one-on-one workshopping during this workshop, during the live event. So if you're interested in that, make sure that you check it out and register for it. So this feels like you are just empowering yourself by clearing out all of this old energy. And I just stopped shuffling, and the bottom of the deck is the Fool. And this is what it feels like. It feels like new you, new version of yourself. And that is what is going to usher in a new physical reality for you. And it doesn't mean that it's going to be such a significant change. It doesn't mean that your whole life is going to be upended, but you'll be experiencing your life in a different energy. That's what drives me batty about the spiritual community, is we think that just because we are going through our ascension journey and moving into this new earth energy, that everything is going to be completely different. We're going to wake up and our whole reality is different. It doesn't work like that. You experience your reality differently. And then the more people, and that has a ripple effect, and the more people who are experiencing the reality differently, the way you move, the way that you act, what you do, your service work, for example, that has a ripple effect on the collective then. It's not an overnight thing. It is something that happens and starts within you, and you see it within your own individual world, your own individual reality, where things are flowing, things are effortless. There's more kindness, there's more compassion, that you are in overflow, so you're able to give more and you're able to receive more. You're in abundance, so you're able to give. Like, it's this beautiful, natural exchange. And the more that you are seeing that in your world, and that has a ripple effect, the more you will begin to see that play out in collective reality. It's not you can't bypass the inner work. And that's what I see in the spiritual community so much. There's a bypassing of the inner work. You cannot bypass the inner work. That is where the pleasure is. That is where the joy is. That's where the inner peace is found. Okay. We're going to get some... How much time is it? Oh, gosh. Okay. Guidance for the divine masculine. Divine masculine, we have hold your vision, and I feel like hold the process. You're going through an incredible process right now. Keep holding that process, holding the vision for this new version of you. Keep rooting into who you are. And for the divine feminine, have faith in your dreams. You guys are mirroring this. And it's like you're saying to each other in a time for healing, yeah, this is the shift. So it's like you're mirroring to each other. Keep believing in what we're doing. Keep believing in this work. Keep believing in this journey. Keep believing in me. Not what you see or don't see, but what you know deep within your heart. All right, that is going to be it for today at Deeper Dive, but this is going to lay, again, the foundation for other readings to come. We'll tune into the connection itself in the next reading, which will come early next week. So make sure that you're staying tuned. Make sure that you're checking out all of the sacred channelings as well. Sending lots of love and lots of light. We'll see you next time.